everybody.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to another episode of the Manifest Actual Play. As before, I am here with Dan Barron, Addie Gia, Seth Lilly, reprising their roles of Roland, Pax, and Kinsey, respectively. Before we get into a recap of the previous episodes, Addie, do we have any announcements?
Sorry, my audio cut out. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Do we have any announcements?
Just that tomorrow is our first episode of Building Character with me, Addie Gia, your favorite Addie Gia. Watch me theorycraft and help me make a ranger of some kind. Let's see if we can make one that is functional for D&D. So join me tomorrow at 8.
Episode 1 of Building Character is just you picking the almost hardest class to make in D&D.
It's what Twitter voted for, so that's what we're doing.
Do you know any secrets? How do I make this good?
I did play a ranger for an exceedingly long time, so hopefully that experience will pay off.
Yeah, you got to
smart,
right? Well, it was a ranger up to level 8, and then I switched over to druid because I couldn't make it work after that.
So, you could have just said yes.
Truth in journalism or something.
Okay. So, welcome to Manifest Actual Play. In the previous episodes, Roland and Pax were Roland, Pax, and Kinsey were all part of a prison transport that was the target of the Dead Man's Gang, a murderous group of outlaws who swept the 3 drifters up, kind of sort of forcing them into being part of the gang. The subtext was very clear. If they did not say yes, they would just be killed because they'd be witnesses. So since being busted out of jail by the Dead Man's Gang, they have been plotting a way to relieve themselves of the situation they found themselves in. Also, Pax and Roland specifically are the only 2 people on Manifest who know the location of the item that the Dead Man's Gang is trying to obtain. They were entrusted with the item in a moment of panic by Marshal Yen, who instructed them to wait for him, and cleverly they hid it inside a cave. They buried it and masked the burial, so that when the Dead Man's Gang showed up, there was no lockbox to be found. The Dead Man's Gang is apparently trying to acquire this weird high-tech lockbox, and they are keeping Marshal Yen alive for the time being as they try to make him spill where he hid it. To their knowledge, he has not told the Dead Man's Gang that they had it last, and to his knowledge, same. So, after proving themselves to the Dead Man's Gang and convincing Rufus Nash that they were actually useful, they were sent eastward towards a town called Moorbank. There they were instructed to go to the Pearl Saloon and ask for Salvador Alston. And to alleviate any concerns that they were being set up, the leader of the Dead Man's Gang, Rufus Nash, sent their heavy gunner, Miguel Reyes, to accompany them and make it so they weren't just going off on their own to like some kind of death trap. Speaking of death traps, they entered a forest where we left off. Both Kinsey and I think it was Roland were able to pick up the scent, putrid as it is, of a skunk ape. And Kinsey noticed just then that they must have entered into a skunk ape's either hunting or mating area. That's their most dangerous time. And that's where we're going to pick up. With, you kind of get that whiff, and you kind of smell it, and you look back, and you realize, Kinsey, what's about to happen, and you have a second to say something before you see bushes and trees moving, and you realize you can hear it coming now that you smell it.
I'm just gonna basically cry out to my compatriots. I'll just say, behind you, get ready, and I'm gonna get my gun out, my rifle.
Cool. As you shout that, Miguel turns. He's at the front of the pack. You guys are all on horseback also. He turns and sees the movement, and he starts reaching for his gun. And at that moment, one of the low-hanging branches of a nearby tree bends and almost snaps as a massive creature swings off of it and flies at the four of you. This is a 6-armed, ape-like creature with multiple eyes and goat-like horns. It's got dark, oily fur, and you get a glimpse of its back as it has kind of a silvery white stripe down its back. And it goes flying into the group of you as you begin to ready your rifle, Kinsey. And I need everyone to roll initiative. Yeah. You know what? All of you can take a grit. I'm going to play to the gallery so that 2 dice can explode.
Oh no! That's too many. That's a whole turn. Don't do that. I refuse the grit. What then?
Then you just don't get grit. I still spent it.
Okay.
All right. I should have a little notepad here. Let me fix that. All right. So, did anyone get better than a 10?
No, I certainly did not.
That's a big old negatory.
Okay. So one thing I hadn't done yet is I hadn't rolled for Miguel yet.
So Miguel might get better than a 10 in theory, is what you're saying.
Yes, in theory.
Good thing his gun works just fine.
What about in practice?
I'm assuming no one got a 9.
I did get a 9, yes.
Oh, what is your awareness attribute?
That's a great question. What is my awareness attribute? 4.
Okay. And Pax and Roland, what did you get for initiative?
You should go first.
I'm not sure I should, but 4.
Oh no! I go before you with a 5. What's happened?
I only got 1 hit.
None of this is okay.
Okay, so so this massive skunk ape throws the weight of its body into the middle. The horses all rear up, spooked by the sudden appearance of this creature. It lets out a roar, and as it does, glands open up along its body, and gas seeps out into the area where you are. Immediately forcibly shot out, creating this cloud that lingers and sticks to your skin. You are all immediately covered in Skunk Ape gas. Oh, apparently Dan's entire computer crashed.
Oh no.
So Roland is dead. No, we'll continue. We'll continue going for now. Roland doesn't have a turn for a little while. I assume Dan can get his computer back up and running by then. Meanwhile, we'll look at his frozen face as he realizes his doom. So, those of you who are online, I would like you to roll a negate test. This negate test will be at a -3.
Okay.
Take an iron gut.
Did you say you have iron gut?
No, I should have. Take it.
Oh,
You've been
that would
smart.
be great.
Yeah. Oh no. I hate this.
Oh dear. Okay. That's one and ooh, sorry, pardon me. Excuse me. Right.
I'm going to spend 3 grit in order to ignore all negatives. All my negatives.
Okay.
So now I'm down to 9 grit, and you can give me more grit now. And I can roll this die that exploded. Nothing happened. Okay. This is going to be great. I'm so excited.
All right.
I'm sorry. I need to spend a grit. I'm to spend 1 grit to make my own luck. I'd like to at least try for 1 success.
Keep spending my grit.
Good. That was 1 success. Yes, perfect.
Excellent. Okay. So, does that each of you got 1?
Yes, so far.
I got 1, yes.
The effects of this toxin that you're inhaling is it will deal 3 damage. Don't write anything down yet. It will deal 3 damage directly to your hit points, and it will give you nausea and disorientation. Nausea affecting your physical stats and disorientation affecting your mental stats. So, since each of you got 1 hit, the question is, which one of those 3 effects do you want to cancel out?
I will not take the damage. Just be nauseous and was it discombobulated? Is that what you said?
Well, similar. Disoriented.
Discombobulated, then it is.
Yeah. All right. So you don't take 3 damage direct to your hit points. However, you do suffer from nausea and disorientation, which both of those together effectively give you a -2 to all of your skills.
Excellent.
Your disorientation affecting your mental skills and nausea affecting your physical skills. If you want to alleviate yourself from this negative, you can spend a focused action clearing your head to get rid of disorientation, or a focused action emptying your stomach, and that will temporarily alleviate the nausea. However, both of these effects will come back at the top of each combat round when we roll initiative again. But you can basically skip a turn to get rid of it for all your other turns.
Sure.
What about you, Pax?
I'm gonna skip out on the nausea, I think.
Okay. So you take 3 direct damage to your hit points.
I
do. Become disoriented. So the wound will give you a -1. But yeah. So this gas shoots out, and immediately it's this haze. It's kind of like greenish yellow, murky haze. Gets in your eyes, stings a little bit, gets in your nose. It just sticks onto you. It's awful. And it gets in your throat, Kinsey, and you retch and stumble a bit. Your guys' horses are also stomping on the ground, and one of the horses starts throwing up, and you guys see as Miguel, as he's pulling out his rifle, he retches and like climbs off of his horse and then like leans on it and just and spends his first turn emptying his stomach to get rid of the negatives. Do we have oh, we don't have Dan back yet.
Sure don't.
All right. Well, we'll continue moving forward bravely. Kinsey, it is your turn.
Sure. I am going to go ahead and try and take a shot. I think my range is at a point where I could at least get a successful 2.
So you are going to be at a -2 because of
Understood. Wow, that's unpleasant. Yes, well, that is one success with a high of 1, so...
Yeah, no, that doesn't beat all of my successes. You are up against an 11 if there's any grit, fuckery you want to do. So
there's truly not. I wish I could.
Okay, so your stomach turning upside down, Kinsey. You retch. You see Miguel has succumbed to it, and you're like, well, someone has to do something. You pull out your rifle. You lever in around, and you like heave as you take the shot, and the shot goes just up in the air, like splitting one of the branches up top.
This is a truly disgusting experience.
Yes. Now it would be Roland's turn. So I'm going to go ahead and just force him to to hold his action. And we're going to have Pax go.
Okay. I'm going to take out my knives and try to flash at it.
Okay. Keeping your mouth shut, not breathing in through your mouth. As tempting as it is, you breathe in through your nose. It stings your nose and your eyes. It like kind of burns on your skin a little bit, not a lot. But you make sure not. You're like, I do not want this in my mouth, and you run forward, soldiering through the smell of it as you pull out your 2 large fighting knives and take your first attack.
Okay. Well, wait, I have a better stat than that, don't I? I do. I roll 4 dice. All right, dice. Here we go. Oh, that's bad. But I have a reliability.
Oh no.
Oh, hey.
Did I break the whole thing?
Not quite.
Cool. My computer didn't want none of a Skunk Ape.
Your computer failed everything. So just really quick, Roland, I need you to roll a negate test at a -3.
Oh no. I have a thing for this. A filtration mask. I noticed this terrible smell. Could that have been my thing? My one thing.
Roll here's what we'll do. Roll survival for me.
Oh, I thought of it as sort of a, I don't know why, it was just more of a, this smells bad. I don't want to smell that anymore.
You may have been like rummaging for it, but I don't know if you had enough time to put it on unless you knew to like hasten your activity. Sure. Which is why if you want to roll survival.
Ah, well, reliable. Okay, no hits. Negate at a -4. Ah, that's too many dice I've rolled. None of them are hits anyways, and I don't have reliability.
So it's a -3.
Well, I've rolled too many dice anyways. It's fine. It's bad. What happens to me?
it's me. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got 0 then.
0 hits, yes. That's the number.
So this murky yellowish green haze that you're in sticks to your skin, burns your eyes. You inhale and it like burns your nose, sticks inside your mouth. The taste of it is almost as bad as the smell of it. And you suffer 3 hit point damage, direct to hit points.
Oh, no.
And then you also suffer from disorientation and nausea. So nausea is going to make you have a -2 to basically all of your physical skills, unless you spend a focus action relieving your stomach. And disorientation will give you a -2 to all of your mental and social skills until you spend a focused action clearing your head. And those negatives will re-up at every time we roll initiative, basically.
Great. This is fine.
What else has happened since you left is Miguel is off his horse and throwing up. Kinsey took a shot, but he's retching too hard to get to take good aim. Pax is soldiering through the smoke. She's drawn both of her knives, and she's taken a slash at the skunk ape. What did you get for your highest, Pax?
I got an 8.
All right. Well, I rolled very bad, and my highest is a 4.
That's 2 hits. The lower hit is a 4. So if you want, you could spend grit to maybe do something. I don't know what.
Why would you say that? He knows. Don't tell him what he could do.
but also no, because I can't bamboozle you after the fact. So, and that wouldn't matter anyways. The 4 would have still hit. So the tie will go to you. So, how much damage is it with however many net successes you score over 4, including the tie? You can only count as many successes as you have accuracy.
I have crazy accuracy, but it is 3.
The power is 3?
Yeah, so that would be 6.
If you got 2 net successes, then yes, it would be 6.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How much piercing?
None. I realize now I should have thrown them.
All right, 6. Cool. So you rush up. You take a wild slash upwards. Your eyes burning from this gas, and the skunk ape kind of like smacks the knife with its forearm. You rake the knife along, but it doesn't seem like your knife is sharp enough to really pierce the skin right then. As you kind of like cut some of the fur and dig in a little bit, but there's no blood. As it lets out like a roar, like thumping its chest with 2 of its 6 arms.
Well, I have a second.
Yeah, it was only a quick action to stab with 1 knife. What do you do with the other?
I will. Oh gosh. Oh no. I don't want to lose my knife. Oh wait. I'm gonna back up a little bit and throw blinding projectile ammo at it.
Okay. So it kind of like it like blocks against, and you kind of stumble back from that block, and it roars at you, and you like pull back out of like instinct, reach into your bandolier and pull out a blinding projectile, and you throw it. Go ahead and roll that attack.
Yeah.
Get a +1 to this because of blinding ammo. You only have to get kind of close.
Oh, hey, that's great. I love that. So I'm at my total is -1, right? Yeah. Cool. Yay. This is great. I love this very much. I get more dice. Hold on. We get 2 more dice.
Pax, take a grit.
I get 3 more dice. I'm taking a grit. I can take it because I spent grit.
You've come so far.
All right, Pax, what's your highest?
A 9.
Okay. I also have a 9.
Okay. That's still 3 net hits.
Oh.
That's wild.
I rolled so with the -1, my target is a 9.
All right. Well, you're gonna eat more of my grit. I'll play to the gallery so I can count this 11.
Hey, no.
But you do get another grit, and you ate 2 more of my grit.
Stupid grit.
So why are you full still?
I am.
So you step back, you throw out your blinding ammo. The skunk ape pulls 3 of its 6 arms over its face because you threw like something right at its face, and its proximity like sensor goes off and it like bursts in this bright light that you shield yourself from. But unfortunately, the skunk ape has seemed to have shielded itself as well. It kind of pulls back, blinks a little bit, and then looks right at you and snarls.
I run away.
Yeah, you can pull back a little bit. I'm assuming you jumped off your horse.
Yeah, I jumped off my horse and hit it on the butt.
Okay, so your horse is now run off into the woods.
Hopefully not too far, but who knows?
Yeah,
It's
we'll
not
be
my
needing
horse.
that later, I suppose.
And I don't know how horses work, so.
So you pull back a little ways. You're not able to quite get out of the cloud, which seems to cover like a 10 or 15 foot radius.
Okay.
Roland.
I've thought long and hard about what I would accomplish with this turn. I'm going to barf.
Okay. As you pull back, Pax, you turn to the side. You see. Do you stay on your horse, Roland, or do you get off?
Absolutely. I stay on the horse.
Roland kind of sits there. He soothes his horse a little bit. He was like coughing and sneezing, and then in unison, Roland's horse and Roland both throw up.
I think I probably barf on the horse,
Oh,
just straightforward.
Oh no! Oh. I want to steal some of your grit for that. Okay. Now it is the skunk ape's turn. It is going to rush forward, and it's going to try and smash both Pax and Kinsey.
Excellent.
I dodge. Wait, is this a melee attack?
Yes.
Okay. Can I use melee?
Yeah, you can use melee to defend yourself against melee. It basically runs forward. You guys are close enough that it's gonna kind of like try and shoulder charge you, Pax, and then like bouncing off of you, it's gonna like try and uppercut Kinsey with 2 of its arms. Pax, you are up against a 10.
Come on.
I am going to spend 3 grit to ignore negatives, and then another, 2 grit to play to the gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to spend 5 grit, 2 expenditures.
Nice.
And I have a 13. And
Okay.
I guess this explodes, but I guess it doesn't matter.
At this point, you're good. Kinsey, you're up against a 7.
Yes, my 1 success was a 3, so I don't think that'll be happening.
So Kinsey, you take 8 damage with 1 piercing.
Perfect. Wow. Well done.
As it tries to smash up against Pax, but Pax, you kind of put the flats of your blades in front of you, and like they take most of the impact, and you kind of get knocked back, and then it barrels right past you and then swings with two of its arms, just kind of smashing into Kinsey. Kinsey, you're still on your horse, right? Or did you get off?
No, I was still on my horse, yes.
You get knocked off your horse as it just like smashes you, leaping up to reach you. Doesn't have to leap, but it kind of gets that extra momentum. And smashes you. You fly down. You're able to kind of like land in a way where you'll be able to scramble to your feet without like using an action or anything.
Sure.
But yeah, you fall roughly.
Nothing more shameful than being desaddled in the middle of a battle.
And that is Skunk Ape's turn. And Miguel is going to spend his turn clearing his head. Yeah. So after he finishes throwing up, Miguel's going to kind of like blink his eyes and like pull out like a rag that like has been in like his coat, so it's not like coated in the gas. He rubs it on his eyes and like shakes his head and starts like blinking his eyes clear. But he is not in the fight yet. And now, Kinsey, it is your turn.
So I think that being punched from my horse, I kind of like landed on my back in such a way that I lost my breath. And so as soon as I scramble up, I think that I just feel so terrible that causes me to vomit as well. Into the growing pool of horse and human vomit.
Welcome to Skunk Ape, everybody.
That scene from Family Guy.
All right, so Kinsey, you spend your focused action relieving the tension in your stomach for the time being.
Sure. I think I might go ahead and cowboy up and take a second action. If I may.
Double down.
Double down. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can spend 4 grit, and you can take another turn right now, and it doesn't affect your initiative.
I shall.
That is a very good use of double down.
Sure, and I think having voided my stomach, I will straighten back up and take a nice shot at our dear friend the Skunk Ape.
Okay.
These two. Okay, good start. I have 1-1 and 120.
That's not good.
Well, I'm depending on my on some of my reliability here.
Well, you can't reroll that 20. It's locked in.
No, and I can't reroll that 6, so I'm just going to reroll this one again. And that's another 20. So that's 2 successes with a high of 6.
Unfortunately, my high is an 8.
Wasn't I supposed to be proving how good I was at things this time? That I was actually capable of doing something?
Just gotta land a hit. You're remembering all the bonuses from your gun, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that I am. Yes.
Yeah, they're written right next to the gun.
+2 ranged. Yeah, but even with that, my rolls were that awful.
Don't forget those; they're useful.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so, cool, and you're done after that.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, Roland, it's your turn.
Okay. So there's just sort of vomit everywhere.
It's not a pretty scene. There's a murky haze that's sticking to everything. It smells putrid, like way worse than like rotted meat. It's just like rotted meat and like old eggs and this like acrid acid smell, like bile, probably from all the vomit.
Yeah, no, you don't need to. I don't need to speculate on where the smell's coming from. There's 2 pretty clear sources of gross. I guess I'm gonna shoot it with my gun that I hastily sling off my back, as appearing as if I am competent with it. And I will spend 4 grit to quadruple bamboozle it.
Okay, it's just at a -4.
Aha. Well, Wish I had some of that grit back.
Doing quite well as a group.
So I've got an 8, but also I've misfired, which
Okay.
may I posit that I vomit again?
So you do actually hit with an 8 because I got a 7 because you quadruple bamboozled me.
Great, that was a worthwhile usage of a large amount of grit.
How much damage?
Just 6.
Okay. Any piercing?
It has 2 piercing, so, just saying. It's 2.
So you wipe your mouth clean. You see it going, and you level out your rifle, and you take aim, like blinking a little bit. Your eyes are stinging, and you take a shot, and you actually clip the thing in one of its horns, and like it kind of like shatters a little bit. Like there's like a big chunk of it blown out. It lets out like a pained roar. But unfortunately, you shot your gun right by the ear of your horse, and it rears back, and you go flying off the horse. And your horse goes running off into the woods as well.
Oh, no, I wanted to be on the horse while it did that. That was phase 2 of my daring plan.
Also, because you glitched while using an item, you misfired while using an item, that item will downgrade in quality by 1, which for your firearm will mean it will lose 1 accuracy.
Well, damn. I suppose it's sort of functionally no different for me, but...
But it feels bad, right? Yeah, you like land down and your gun gets all dirty. Pat,
oh no, my gun is covered in vomit now.
Pax, it's your turn.
It's horse vomit too.
Okay, so I'll still holding on to my knife. I'm going to pull my shirt, like my scarf that I always wear, over my face, and yell out and be like, Miguel, get your ass in the game. And then I'm gonna run around the back of the skunk ape, because I think it like blew past me to go to Kinsey, correct? So I'm going to run around, and I want to anime style run up its back and then when I get to like its like horns or like its shoulder blades or whatever, like kick off and like throw 2 projectiles at it, and then like hopefully land looking cool, but landing at all, not in vomit, is the goal.
What's the purpose of the kick? Are you trying to maneuver it in some way, or just like...
No, I just want to look cool and not be on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to stay up there, because...
I don't know. I mean, it kind of sounds like a bamboozle to me.
No.
Okay.
No.
Just now, hold on though. What if you spent 12 grit to bamboozle it?
My projectiles don't do enough damage. But otherwise, it's a great idea. And also, I don't have 12 grit anymore. I only have 7. So, so do I have to roll athletics or anything to like run up its tail onto its back?
I'm not trying to confer any kind of mechanical benefit by doing that, so I'm not going to make you roll for it.
Cool.
You have a high enough athletics and a high enough muscle that for you to like kind of kick off of this thing is not so incredibly hard that it's super interesting to have you roll for it.
Okay.
So yeah, you rush forward, run up, kick off this thing. It stumbles forward, and you throw from your bandolier.
I want these to be probably piercing shots.
Okay.
Okay.
So they get an additional 4 armor piercing.
Yeah, which is more damage than I can do.
Oh wait, no, these are thrown. This isn't light stabbies, so it's just an additional 2.
Okay, well then it's exactly the amount of damage.
Nice. It's been
still out of
shot at a few times. So I'll re-roll this. Cool. My highest is a 5.
I ranged in 9. I'm gonna play to the gallery. I'm gonna spend 2 grit so I can count these 10s.
Okay.
Really eating away at my grit collection after very many episodes of not doing that. And I'm gonna roll 2 more dice. I get to go again.
Wait. How many? If you say you go again, I got a 5. Did we resolve the attack and the damage?
No, I keep on getting explosions. Leave me alone. I want to keep rolling dice.
All right, everyone take 5 minutes while Addie continues to roll exactly her target number and keep exploding.
I love dice. Okay. So, wow. Well, my accuracy is only 3. Is punch it the one where you get to increase the accuracy?
Yep.
And that's 3.
Uh-huh.
Getting down pretty low. Sun's getting pretty low, big guy. Yeah, this seems like as good an expenditure as any. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go down to 2 grit. I've spent most of my I've spent 10 grit on this attack. And I have 4 10s.
You can count all of them.
And I can count all of them.
All right, what's the damage then?
3.
Over a 5.
Well, I have many over a 5, but I have 4 10s. So
you can count 4, so it's power times 4, and then you split it with piercing and
12 damage, 6 piercing.
Okay.
Did I get it? Maybe.
So you run up, kick off this thing. It stumbles forward, kind of like sprawling out, like pushing off of the ground to keep itself with like its lower arms to keep itself from like falling to its knees. And in that moment, you pull out one of your like pinpoint like throwing knives, and you throw it out in front of you. As you're flying through the air, and it sticks right in the back of the thing's spine, like right where the like white stripe is on its back, and it lets out a roar, pulling its back, and like blood like begins pouring. It seems like you hit something pretty important, and yeah, it's still alive, but that hurt it a lot.
Or shoot it again with the pinpoint, the piercing shot.
Okay.
Yeah. Much worse. I have a 9 high.
I also have a 9 high.
Twist the knife 2.
Twist the knife costs 2. Yes.
I'm gonna do that.
So you twist the knife so that you can get an additional hit. So,
yeah, and so that's 6 piercing damage.
So 6 direct to its hit points after toughness.
Yes.
Okay. So leaping off, you throw one. It lets out a roar, stumbling forward, and you throw another one almost in exactly the same spot. There's 2 like narrow daggers sticking in this thing's back, and it can't quite reach it with all 6 of its arms. As it like reaches and like stumbles forward, lets out a roar, almost slams into you, Kinsey. It is not happy about that, not in the slightest.
I run away.
And yeah, that's Pax's last turn.
Yeah.
It, Pax, is going to turn towards you, seeing you run. And since you are the only one to deal a significant amount of damage to it, it rushes forward, and it's going to use its focused action to try and gore you with its horns.
Horn.
no.
No, the horn you shot is damaged but not gone.
You said I blew off a significant part, is all I'm saying.
Okay, with its horn and a half.
Is more dice with a lower target better, or is a higher target with fewer dice better?
Is reliability a thing? Actually, more dice is always better, usually. But in defending specifically, higher target is kind of a different factor. Because net successes doesn't matter when you're defending. In every other case where net successes are like important, more dice is always better.
Okay. Here lies Pax. She got deaded. Ooh,
All right, Pax, I'm sitting at a 10.
are you?
I am.
Okay.
But actually, I'm the attacker, so I have to choose my grit first. So what's your highest?
5.
Okay. I'm going to spend some grit, so you get a grit, Pax. As I go it strong, so I can count both of these hits. And yeah, now my highest is a 12.
I still have a 5.
Cool. So, Pax, you take 10 damage with 6 armor piercing. You take the 10 damage, you subtract your toughness from it, and then 6 of that remainder goes to your hit points directly, and the rest of it goes to your armor.
So 4 to my armor?
If that's how the math shakes out, then yes.
Well, 6 goes to hit points. There's
Do you
10
have
whole
0
damage.
toughness? You don't have any toughness?
No toughness.
Then that is correct. Unless you want to take an injury.
Is that a tier 2 injury?
How much damage is it? So it's 10 total, right? That will be a tier 2.
I will take an injury.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm bleeding out.
Then yeah, that is an easy choice. So I need you to roll 1d20, and we'll see what you get.
All right, this is important. I gotta find this guy. Roll low, little buddy. That's not low. It's a 19.
All right. You are
jail.
Oh boy.
You are compromised, which gives you 1 less reliability on all of your tests.
What?
Dude.
That's so bad. Past Addie. Screw you.
So this hits you with like with its head, but you're able to kind of like angle your body in a way that you avoid the horns and you don't get gored. But it slams into your side and you like tweak your back. And you get like massive immediate bruising as this thing came full force on you, and you go flying out and like the wind gets knocked out of you and like a sharp pain goes up your spine as you fall down. And you're like coughing for air, and then you like kind of breathe in that noxious gas, and you're like, "Oh God, everything is terrible." And having smacked you away, it is going to double down, and it's going to rush at Roland.
Oh no!
Who shot it in the horn.
This is extremely bad.
I kind of feel all right about not injuring it at this point.
Oh, do you, Kinsey? Do you feel fine about this situation?
So Roland, it's not going. Did I freeze out, or did you guys get that?
Freeze out.
You
It's not going to work.
froze.
Yeah, it's not going to try and gore you with its horn. It's going to try and kind of shoulder charge you and smash into you with its 6 arms.
Well,
Great.
I bet it does.
You're up against a 9.
Ah, well, if I weren't hurt and had more grit, I would have a 10. But instead, I have a 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna... Does this attack have piercing of any kind?
Oh, hold on. Let me go back to my notes. Yeah, it has 1 armor piercing.
Okay. And how much is it?
So it's actually just 4 damage with 1 armor piercing.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's much less than I thought it would be.
With all 6 of those
Um,
arms.
Is it did it double? It's doubling down.
It doubled down, yes.
So do we all get a grit for that?
Yeah. Everyone should get a grit for that. Thank you for pointing that out.
Checking.
Yeah, absolutely. You are all affected by it taking another turn.
Oh, shit.
All right, so yeah, Roland, it kind of smashes into you. You were just getting up, and you get knocked back, and then with its other 6 arms, it's gonna kind of try and like smash you into the ground.
Oh no. Why? Can I play dead?
Maybe on your turn.
Aha. None of those are hits.
Oh, that's not great. So you're up
Yeah.
against.
I don't know if you know this. I'm bad at not getting hit or doing fighting.
So that is 8 damage with 1 armor piercing.
Oh, okay. Well, I reduced that to 7. Okay. He just sort of punches the armor right off me.
Yeah, so he, like, with all 6 arms, just, like, in succession, like, poof, 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 slams you into the ground. And then, like, you start crawling, and then with its 3 other arms, poof, poof, poof. And, like, your, like, armor gets ripped off your back, and you scramble forward. Like, the wind knocked out of you, you feel your back aching from this attack as it rips the armor off of you, and with 4 of its 6 arms, it, like, rips the armor in 2 and throws it in 2 shards, and, like, with its other 2 arms, pounds its chest. That's its turn. Now it's Miguel's turn.
Please do something, Miguel.
Miguel, clearing his eyes, seeing what's going on, he grits his teeth, seeming like to kind of like get clarity and focus, and he like pulls out his massive gun, levels it at his hip. The barrels start rotating, and he holds it down and like traces it as it's like fighting, and then like aims up, and he's aiming like right at the thing's head, and then all of a sudden a metal piece flies out of the rotation mechanism. The piece that you sabotaged, Pax.
I didn't do any sabotaging.
Oh, sure. Sorry. The piece Pax convinced Kinsey to sabotage. The metal just springs out, goes flying, and the barrels like jam, and then the gun like lets off one shot that goes wide, and like then like seems to overheat. And he like lets go of it and goes like, "What the damn hell?"
Well, poor timing, but excellent craftsmanship, I suppose.
And that is Miguel's turn. Because it takes him a focus action to fire that thing.
Wow, I hate that.
Kinsey, it's your turn.
I'm going. So the bayonet on my gun that gives me 1 less to my ranged skill, or 1 less accuracy.
1 less to your range skill. Makes it a +2 instead of a +3 for you.
Right. I'm gonna. Can I use my quick action to take that off then?
You can, but it's a focus action to fire that gun, so not really a great thing. Like you won't be able to shoot it after doing so.
That makes sense.
But you can do that. You do have another gun, so it's up to you.
Sure, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll use my light firearm to shoot the damn thing, which I believe still has the hollow point
it's your first time firing it in this combat, so you can choose whatever ammo is in there.
Right, excellent. Yes.
From there on out, it's a matter of reloading.
Some hollow point fucking ammo.
All right.
God.
So you drop your rifle down onto the ground like stock first, and with one hand on the frame of it and the other hand on the tip, you quickly unscrew the bayonet off your rifle because it's messing with your aim. Then you lean it against your shoulder, reach at your hip, and draw out your burst fire pistol, and you take a shot. So go ahead and roll range.
Good.
That is a interesting roll I just did. Yo, Kinsey?
Right.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
I just wildly whiffed.
I like that.
Like, can't even. There's no grit to get me there. I could spend a grit to play to the gallery. So maybe or not play to the gallery. To make my own luck. So what did you get?
Right. I am going to spend a grit to play to the gallery.
Okay, that sounds like me not wanting to spend any grit.
Probably not worth it, no. That is 3 successes with a high of 12.
Yep, it's all you. How much damage is that with 3?
With 3, that is 15 with 6 piercing.
Whew. 15 total?
Yes.
So it's smashing and ripping and like celebrating, like tearing apart the armor that was on Roland, and then you kind of like you get into like your like it's like reminiscent of your time as like a company man, right? You kind of like militaristically, you're like, okay, hold on, training, kick in, drop the bayonet. We're not getting into close combat here, and then like covering fire, and you draw the pistol and like almost casually like rake the burst fire up, and every bullet hits along this thing's back, blood shooting out. It lets out a roar as you, with your knowledge of like the creature, are able to hit it in like a pretty important spot, like around like, you know, with it, if it was enough piercing, it might have like, you know, gotten to the heart. But since you're shooting it from behind, it just kind of digs into its lungs, and it like screams and lets out like a howl, and like stumbles and falls onto a couple of its arms and turns towards you, previously having kind of ignored you up to this point, and it like seems to like kind of like soak in you, like it's like sizing you up for the first time. Roland, you have a turn.
You don't have to sound so surprised. You know, I showed up. I'm gonna quickly scramble over onto my back and fire wildly. Though not really, it's a bolt-action rifle. You can really only shoot it the one time.
That one time, though, is really wild.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's, you know, some nothing.
$1 million.
Okay. Well, I've got a 9.
I got 5.
Okay, I can't count any more hits. I got 2, but this gun is filled with barf, and thus is less accurate.
How much damage is that?
6 damage with 2 piercing.
All right. It like turns towards Kinsey, kind of standing up, and like a couple of its arms like clutching its wound, and like as it's looking at you, Kinsey, a shot flies through one of its shoulders, and it lets out like another howl and turns and sees like that Roland isn't dead, and that it was celebrating too soon. And that's Roland's turn. It I think in a little bit of an act of desperation, Kinsey, it's going to come flying towards you and try to gore you with its horns.
Excellent. Good. Yes. Exactly what I was hoping for. Right, I vomited. I have to remember that. Okay. I'll take you. Right. 3 successes with a high of 8.
Okay. Kinsey, take some grit.
I'll take that. Okay.
As in its act of desperation, it goes it strong to get rid of all of its wound modifiers that you've put on it.
Yes.
And it will hit you for 10 damage, 6 armor piercing.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. You said 10 damage, 6 piercing?
Yeah, so you take the 10 and you subtract your toughness from it, and then and then 6 of that remainder goes into your hit points directly, and everything else goes to your armor.
Right.
Or you can take an injury.
All right, I'm just trying to do quick math here. So yes, all right. No, I'll take it. I'm strong.
So it rushes at you as you kind of like holster your bayonet and your pistol, getting your rifle ready, and you look up and the horn stabs into like your like chest, digging into your armor so enough that like it doesn't like pierce super far in, but enough that it sucks.
Right.
As you get lifted up off the ground, you guys see like right on his chest, this thing tried to stab Kinsey in the heart, but wasn't quite able to pierce deep enough to actually reach the heart with its horn. But then Kinsey goes rolling over this thing's back, and I'm gonna just roll a quick test for it. Nope, it is in the fight or flight mentality. It has chosen fight. And it is going to... I don't have enough grit for it to do anything else, so that's its turn. So it, like, throws you up, Kinsey, and, like, turns, its eyes wild. It thinks it's going to die, so it's just desperately trying to take you out because you were the thing that hurt it the most, like, most recently. And it's bearing down at you. And Miguel, of course, doesn't have just one gun.
Obviously.
Miguel, like with one quick press of like a clip on his sling, his giant gun just slams onto the ground, and he pulls out he pulls out a firearm. Not too dissimilar from yours, Kinsey. It's like a modified like burst fire pistol. And he fires it at this thing. And let me just grab all of his dice with no negatives. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And he does... Yeah, enough. Cleanly, pristine, like precision shooting. He just drops it, draws out the gun, grips it with both hands, and just a very controlled burst right into the chest of this thing. Just pop, 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 right in its heart, and it like stumbles forward, looking at you, Kinsey. Its eyes meet yours. It kind of reaches up with one of its hands, like clutching its chest, and then it falls down. Like you're able just barely to roll out of the way as its heavy body slams down right next to you.
Good night, old bean.
And we're out of initiative. You're muted, Pax.
I'm going to get up really slowly.
Miguel, like, pulls up his bandana, kind of waving at the cloud, and then he's going to kind of, like, still like dizzy from the fog that's kind of hanging around. He's gonna level out his gun that he just used to kill the skunk ape and point it at all three of you, and be like, "Who the hell messed with my gun? Who was it? Which one of you?"
I'm going to perhaps foolishly get up and start talking now in this moment. And I say, "What the hell was that, Miguel? We're out here in dangerous ground. Rufus sent you with us to keep us alive, and I vouched for you. He wanted to send the madman, but I said no. Miguel knows what he's doing. I could tell from the look on him. And you're out here, you can't even take care of your gun, and a skunk ape almost kills us?"
Go ahead and roll. We'll do it at so it's gonna be manipulate. And we'll put it at a -4. Miguel is very meticulous about his gun care.
Sure.
So he does. It's gonna take a stretch for him to believe that.
Cool. I'll spend my last grit to bamboozle him.
Okay. Oh, he doesn't roll that many dice. That's his shooting dice, not his.
Yeah, no. Roll his brain dice, Tommy. Okay, that's pretty good.
Wow. Yeah, that bamboozle was really good.
It's sort of the one trick I've been using a lot here.
That bamboozle just prevented a lot. Okay. Yeah, my highest is a 1.
Oh, great! I got 2 net hits.
Okay. He like looks at you and then like retches a little bit, and his gun like lowers, not like completely, but like enough that he's like not pointing it at anyone in particular. And he looks around and he's like, "What? I did cut out. You said he wanted to send the madman, and then what else?"
But I said no. Send Miguel. I can tell from the look of him. He knows what he's doing.
And then you said a thing about like and a skunk ape, like
and a skunk, and then a skunk ape almost killed us because you can't take care of your gun.
Cool. So you like his like eyes flit down to his gun, like on the ground, and he looks to you, and he goes, "Let's get out of this cloud!" And he holsters his pistol, grabbing the sling of his heavy firearm, pulls it up, and goes walking out of the like radius where this cloud is kind of lingering and slowly dissipating.
Okay, I will walk over there and pick up half my armor. Walk over there and pick up the other half of my armor. And only then will I follow him.
Pax and Kinsey?
I'm going to take a moment to clear my head, and then I will follow.
Okay.
Kinsey's just going to follow, basically leaning on his horse for support, putting all of his weight on it. Otherwise, he won't be able to walk.
Yeah, so Miguel gets nearby a tree, leans his massive gun up against it, and like looks at the part that broke. And you can see it's like he's doing calculations in his head, trying to remember, and he's like trying to blink out like the stuff. And like now that you guys have exited the cloud, you know like you're not like your stomach isn't just like doing somersaults, but the smell is still there. It's on you. Mm-hmm. And he's like, ugh, and he's like trying to like ignore the smell, and he's like wiping his face. He's looking at his gun, and he goes, none of y'all went near my gun.
What, you think we would sabotage? You're clearly the most capable fighter here, and like obviously Pax can handle herself and Kinsey's got some training, but like what possible reason would any of us have to sabotage our best protection in this skunk ape infested land? I say, thinking it's the truth.
He goes, no, hey, what's your last name, Roland?
Hollis.
Hollis, get over here. Get over here. Look at this. I don't know what you know about guns. And he kind of rotates the barrel and he goes, but that piece there, that piece ain't old enough to break. All right, somebody tampered with my guns, and if it weren't you, maybe it was one of the two of you. He says to Kinsey and Pax.
Well, let me take a look at this. Let me see what's going on here. I would like to examine his gun.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll machinery. Let's see what you know about it.
Okay. I maybe know a little. Oh, that explodes. Okay. That's 2 hits.
Cool. It is pristinely taken care of. And like you can tell, like, glancing over at the piece on the ground, like it is like he's definitely true. Like, it shouldn't have broken. He definitely takes very good care of his guns. He like takes them apart and reassembles them all the time. And the way in which it broke does not match like a way of like natural wear and tear. It's like it's not like clearly sabotage, but because it's Miguel Reyes, it's clearly sabotage.
Sure. Well, like, see, now look at this here, right? You can see. You don't think the madman sabotaged your gun in camp that night after I convinced Rufus to send you with us, do you?
Yeah, let's do manipulate on that. Take a -2. Okay, you are up against an 8.
I have 1 9, and then I rolled 4 2s.
So he looks at you and goes, like, it's like you see him like almost consider it for like the briefest seconds. He goes, "What? No, that don't make any sense. Why would the madman want this damn detail with the 3 of you? I mean, no offense there, but look at you. All right, look, hey, something weird happened with my gun. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it one way or another. But you're right. It don't make any damn sense for you to go and do that when I'm your primary protection." And he kind of gives like a slight glance towards Pax, and you, Roland, can tell that out of all the people, he's only suspicious of Pax because Pax, like, while Kinsey was definitely incredibly helpful, Pax was like the most competent through that fight. So he thinks like Pax is the one who can most clearly handle herself. So he gets like a little suspicious of her. But then he goes, "But whatever, it couldn't have been the madman. That'd be crazy."
No, you're right. That's crazy. That's too crazy. Even for the madman.
And he goes, "Miss Charlotte." And he snaps his fingers as he's like wiping his eyes.
Yes. How can I help?
Did you see which way them horses went?
I saw a couple of them go northwards, I think.
All right. Roland, Pax, you stay here. Rick Charlotte, with me. Let's get them horses back.
Yes, we should probably look for some kind of first aid type things in the wild as we look for the horses as well.
I want to get us on our transport so we can make it to town on time.
Yes, well, on about a scale of 1 to 10, I'm hovering around 1 currently. So that's also a little bit important.
Yes. All right, take a seat. Rest up. I'll go get the damn horses. If any of y'all aren't here when I come back, I will find you.
I have no doubt.
And he looks at his big gun, takes the magazine out, like the drum off of it, and puts it in his like saddlebag, and then like straps it onto the side of his horse, and like grabs some more ammo for his pistol, and then he goes walking into the woods by himself, and the 3 of you are alone with 2 horses.
Does anyone have cubes of really any kind? Anything will do. My clothes are destroyed, as are, I believe, many of my internal parts.
Well, I've got 3 machinery cubes, but I do need to use those on my armor as well. As you're not the only one who's been completely decimated in that arena.
Sure. No. Hey, that was a great shot with the pistol.
Oh, yes, I got there eventually. The damn bayonet kept getting in my way.
Sure.
And you weren't so bad yourself, you shot off a horn.
You know, I fancy myself a bit of a crack shot in the moment. Does anyone have... No, sorry, hold on. That's not the question I meant to ask. I asked that one already. Did you sabotage his gun?
I think, didn't Pax, you told Roland, right?
I think so.
Because you woke him up.
Sorry,
night. Yeah,
that's the concussion talking. Sure, right, no. Okay. Cool. So the cubes then.
Yeah.
No cubes.
None of you have first aid cubes, right?
I have 3 first aid cubes.
I don't have any cubes.
3 first aid and 3 machinery.
Can we break down night vision goggles into a first aid cube?
No.
Okay. Then I definitely don't have any first aid cubes.
Sure, I mean, you know, I've studied a bit of medicine here and there.
Yes, you're going to attempt to do something with those first aid cubes?
Yeah, I will attempt to heal. I guess. Well, first, do either of you know first aid?
Yes, absolutely. No,
Like,
good,
well?
Good amount of field dressing. It's not horrible.
No.
That's actually quite good at first aid myself.
Okay, Kinsey, here's what I think we do. First, you're going to use a first aid cube on me.
Sure.
And then I'm going to use a first aid cube on you.
Let's see how it goes, shall we?
Can I assist him in using a first aid cube on me?
Yeah, it's a little harder to assist while while it's being done on yourself, so take a -1.
Okay. I don't help.
He tries. But mostly his wounds are like on his back. He's got like cracked ribs and spines and shit like that.
Well, I don't help either. I've got no hits.
Okay, that heals 1 hit point.
14, a 14, and an 18.
Aha. Now, I think we're taking a breather, yes?
You guys will have taken a breather, so this will be, you all heal 2 hit points right now.
Okay. Well, between sitting here and Kinsey, I've reduced a single wound modifier. And if I ever have 2, I'm dead. So, Kinsey, let's work on you now.
Alright, so Kinsey, you're going to try to assist Roland.
Yes,
so you can roll in a -1. We'll see how many successes you get, and that will affect Roland's roll.
that is 3 successes.
Oh, okay. Now, here we go. At a +3. That's
4 successes, actually. Sorry.
Oh,
Forgot to
that makes a
extend
difference. And then that explodes. That didn't help. That's 3 hits.
Alright, so that's 4 hit points back to you, Kinsey.
Well, thank you very much. Very well done.
Yeah.
You studied the medicine quite well.
Kinsey kind of puts like a brace on your like ribs. It's a little helpful, but also a little restrictive, Roland. And then you turn to Kinsey, and he like opens up his armor. And he's got like a deep bleeding hole in his chest.
Oh, that one's easy. You just sort of stuff it up.
Yeah, it's a much more straightforward thing. So you like you sterilize it, put a bunch of gauze on it, do a little bit of stitching, and then wrap it up nice and tight.
And Pax, did you get...
I'll be fine for now.
Okay. Now, does anyone have any machinery cubes? As you can see, my clothing is in halves, which, if it were the other way, would be fine, but it's sort of long ways.
Yes,
Just a crop top. If only it had ripped it this way.
Yes, give it here.
Do you know machinery well?
Well, I'd say on a scale of
On a scale of 1 to 13.
1 to 13, I'm about an 11. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let me help. Here.
Cool.
Well, no negatives for you, Roland, because you can take your armor off and do it. It's not like healing yourself.
Ah. Okay. There. Yeah, you get a +2.
Excellent. Give me that, and ooh. Well, that is 1 success.
That heals 4 armor points.
Ah, wearable.
The armor gets put back together.
And your armor, Kinsey, is it
It's quite decimated. It's mostly just patches left.
Yeah, let me help you out with that one.
Oh, I'll help you helping me out.
Well, I don't.
Max, what are you doing while they're being chummy?
I'm wondering if I should offer them the extra set of armor I have. But also, I guess I'll not go out of line sight, like eye line sight, line of sight. There we go.
That's the one.
But I will sort of look what's ahead, or around.
You like do a little bit of scouting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like nature-y, so like.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna like poke anything if it looks like.
Oh, she's frozen.
Wow.
Oh no, she poked something.
She did. She poked something. All right. Well, she's doing some scouting, so she kind of like stays within line of sight, but like goes around the area, like in the woods. What did you do on your patching up of McCharlotte's armor?
It's a +3 for you, old bean.
Okay. Yeah, I know armor repair. That's 3 hits.
So that's a you were being assisted, right? So that's 6 armor back to you.
Thank you
Kinsey.
very much. I'm glad at least some of our skills match up.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Addie. Oh, she died.
Told you she poked something, and you never touch anything in a forest.
So after a little bit of time, Miguel. Oh, sure.
While Addie's gone, we all get an XP. Because I talked Miguel out of conflict with us.
Yep, that's 1 XP. Did we hit any other triggers?
Not unless you count helping shoot a skunk ape as showing how to survive in the wild to someone.
I don't think so. You guys didn't come out super on top there. If you like slam dunked that skunk ape, if you were just like pow, that's how you survive in the wild. But it wasn't the cleanest of fights. So
now, I may go back and gather, see if there are any parts that are saleable for later. Perhaps the skunk ape horn or the stink gland.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll a survival test.
Sure.
It's a pretty fresh kill. The cloud is gone. I don't think there's going to be any negatives for this.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Especially because it didn't take a lot of like little damage. It took it got like its pelts kind of like messed up a little bit, but like the horns and like the glands, they're pretty intact because it took like 2 really big hits near the end that finished it off. Everything else was like little chip damage.
Oh, that is.
Pax, if you want to roll an observe test, you can.
Going to play to the gallery on that one, so you may take a grit.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, all of you can take a grit, by the way. You survived a life-threatening situation.
Yes. Also, was someone threatened with violence?
Yeah, all of you were, with the violence of a skunk ape.
And was an open fight avoided through underhanded means when Roland convinced Miguel not to kill us?
No, but you did get an XP for him doing that because he talked Miguel out of conflict.
I mean, the underhanded mean, I did gaslight him a bit, which feels like the most underhanded means.
No. I think it's specifically talking him out of conflict, not avoiding an open fight through underhanded.
Okay. So you can get my XP, but not your XP.
Got it.
That's 3 successes for Kinsey.
For your survival to take apart the skunk ape.
Yeah.
So you managed to actually get a decent amount of the pelt. That's like not super messed up. So you guys watch as after kind of patching themselves up, Pax still roll your observe test.
Oh, sure.
So I guess mostly it's Roland at first, and Pax from a distance watches as like Kinsey pulls out a knife, moves on the dead skunk ape, kind of spreads it out, and starts skinning it. And you're able to get like a decent pelt, not like a full pelt, but like a decent, like some chunks.
Sure.
And you kind of roll those up and tie them together with some twine. And then you get to work on the actual, like, more valuable things. You remove the horns, one of which is somewhat damaged, but you do get like one good horn. And then with 3, you will be able to get like there's a point like you get like one of the glands pretty safely, and you like kind of like bottle it up, and you go for the other gland, and as you like, oh, it's hitting your mic.
I realized.
And as you go for like your third gland, you puncture it, and you're like no, and you like jump back as like it squirts up in the air, and you manage to avoid it, but like there's like a lingering cloud around the body, and then it like dissipates, and then you're able to like get some like chunks of meat, like the parts that are palatable enough.
I have established I can make a mean jerky out of about anything.
Yeah. You're able to make some jerky out of some of this.
I will not eat any stink jerky.
And so you kind of like salt and pack those up, and you don't do like like your best work taking apart this animal, but so you can put in your inventory skunk ape horn, and like a single skunk ape horn and a single and 2 skunk ape glands, and then I guess you can put in your inventory like a rudimentary skunk ape pelt. Right, it's a low quality pelt, basically.
I certainly feel like I've learned a lot watching Kinsey go to work.
Yes. I will instruct you as I do some of these things. You know, just to.
Oh yeah, sure. You tell him if Kinsey and Roland talk while you're doing this.
You know.
I can't imagine Kinsey not talking. Yeah, Kinsey, you're able to like kind of like walk Roland through like, you know, what you need is like if you can get the glands intact, like they can be used for all sorts of different things. And you kind of like talk about that a little bit, with your skill in first aid. You talk a little bit about that, and then like you're like, and then some people like to use the horns for like weaponry, ornate stuff like that, and someone has shown how to survive in the wild. You can all get an XP. What did you get on your observe test, Pax?
2 hits.
2?
Yeah, 7 high, so not super.
Okay. You like scan around and everything. You think it's pretty clear. The skunk ape seemed to be acting alone. And you kind of like secure the perimeter basically, and you can see like Kinsey like taking apart the skunk ape off in the distance through the trees. Doesn't seem like there's any immediate threats or anything like that. There's still a decent chunk of wooded area left between you and Moorbank, because Moorbank is right on the other side of this kind of these woods. So you're able to rejoin the group just as Kinsey is finishing up getting what he can from the ape, and then you guys have just a little bit of time before Miguel returns.
So the skunk ape didn't get him, clearly.
No, it super didn't. It didn't really hit him at all with its powerful fists or mighty horn.
Yes, it must have been nice. So does that leave it to us then? Is it our responsibility sometime between now and making it back to the group?
Well, I don't know. I think I might have, started driving a wedge. He might be more useful alive for the time being.
I was hoping you were going to say that, quite frankly. He's much better with a gun than I am. I'm quite good.
Pax, your thoughts.
Well, I think
Keep talking.
I think that he's susceptible to your words, I guess. I don't know. I if that thing had hurt him, killed him, that would be a different story. But as it is, I think we just hope that he decides that his friends hate him.
Oh. Rely on that silver tongue of yours.
Sure, and I mean, we don't even really know if they're friends. He might.
I'm pretty sure they're friends.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think of it as convincing him his friends hate him. I think of it as convincing him the murderers he hangs out. Want to kill him? I'm going to go with that.
That is the shortest stretch imaginable, sure, yes.
Well, it's more that maybe he thought they were his friends, but they're not.
Sure.
All brought together then by circumstance than anything. Why does that sound familiar? Oh yes, that's what our group has done. Okay, sure, that makes sense.
It's an uncomfortable parallel.
I should get it out of the way, I suppose. I'm not planning on killing either of you.
Thank you for being so upfront.
You're welcome. I try to be straightforward. And I do hope that you would extend the same courtesy to me, within whatever capacity you're willing to present that.
I'm not really capable of killing either of you, so that's what I'll say here in this moment.
I don't know. I can't imagine a situation in which I would want to kill you or you. So
We really are on the first steps to friendship then.
All right, I'm going to take it on faith that you all just did some excellent role playing, and everyone gets one grit. All right.
Ask the chat. They were here. They saw it all.
Going to say we should reach the chat to vote.
That grit was unwarranted. Post it right now.
I thought their role playing was middling at best.
All right. So, as Pax is kind of keeping a lookout, so Pax, you're able to like stop your discussion before like Miguel makes it back, and sure enough, Miguel actually does return with the two of the horses. Pulls them back in, He's still like kind of wiping. The smell is still on all of you. Like it sucks. It's real bad. It's just like you kind of like at this point, since it's not like a lingering cloud, you're starting to get like a little used to it. But you're not gonna like like it's there and you're aware of it. And it's bad and you don't like it. And you're like, it would be better if this wasn't going on.
This one is your horse. It has your vomit on it.
Right. No. I can tell. I'm sorry, horse. Do people apologize to horses? I don't know. Don't answer that question. It's a dumb question.
It nips at your hand a little bit.
Maybe I'm not sorry.
All right. Miguel goes, all right. We're not too far from Moorbank. I say we make it the rest of the way. It's on the shore of a river. We can wash ourselves there when we get there. Come on, let's keep moving.
Great. We do.
You all hop back on your horses and continue on your way. You work your way through the forest, and it's relatively uneventful. No more skunk apes attack. And as you guys are getting pretty close to Moorbank, it's like another, we'll say like 6 hours of travel. And about like an hour or so out of Moorbank, you enter like a big clearing in the forest. And given your particular background, Kinsey, you can roll survival. Are you keeping an eye out for threats and stuff like that, or are you kind of like just taking it easy, trying to recover from that fight?
Oh, I mean, since we were just attacked by something in the wild, I think I will be keeping an eye out for attacks, just in case.
So this will just be at a -2.
Just a -2, excellent.
I mean, like if you were taking a nap on the horse.
Oh, good. Well, can't reroll you. That is 1 success. I have 7.
Okay.
Going well, fair, Kinsey.
So you enter. You guys enter this clearing. It's got like thickets of concentrated vegetation like all throughout, and they're like kind of these like long leafed like plant-like things throughout all of this area. It's kind of thick, tall grass almost, and there's little beads and buds of like flowers and stuff. What is going on?
It's because I think me and Addie, the people, have recognized what has happened.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have encountered this yet. You don't know why, Kinsey, but as you guys kind of enter, Miguel's leading the way. You're just a little bit behind him. You like your instincts kick in. Something isn't safe here. You can't quite like. It's more like a feeling than being able to identify exactly what it is. It's like because Miguel's kind of like going forward calmly, and you realize there's a threat. So my question to you, Kinsey, is: do you kind of like hold back and let Miguel continue forward, or do you stop like the whole group as a whole?
Yes. My plan was to hold up a hand and tell the other two to perhaps proceed with caution if proceeding at all.
But you don't communicate anything to Miguel?
Not to Miguel, no, absolutely not.
Okay. So Pax and Roland, you see as Kinsey holds up a hand and kind of like tells you to like slow down. Like he's like, something's off. And what do the two of you do? As Miguel continues trotting forward.
I attempt to slow down.
Cool. Pax?
I'll move up to I'll move up to just in front of Kinsey.
Okay.
Keep moving forward, but very slowly.
Yes.
Sure.
I will say my plan was to hold us back just perhaps enough distance so that if we can swing in heroically and save him from the danger, it would be possible, but just not, more as a tactic to get him to trust us rather than for something ill to befall him.
Also, I swear if this turns into an RTAX situation, I will hurt you. So I'm just going to throw that out right now.
Is that a never-ending story?
Yeah, it is.
I'm aware. I'm aware of your situation when it comes to horses. I somewhat regret giving you guys horses. I have to weirdly GM Fiat horses being okay most of the time, so that Addie will continue to speak to me. That being said, the horse trots forward with Miguel on top, and as they kind of get into this tall, grassy, little flower beddy field, right as the horse gets in just a little bit, it's for its two front hooves going in and parting some of the grass, and then it steps down at one point, and just a massive burst of movement happens as one of the plants just without any sort of preamble or anything, just shoots up out of the ground like a giant fucking bursting thing. The speed of a freight train shooting up, and it goes up 12, 15, 18 feet up in the air, spreading out in the beautiful, almost peacock plume spread, shooting Miguel and his horse up into the air. The horse lets out a pained whinny and falls on its side. But because Miguel was leaning over to the left of the horse, messing with his stirrup, he takes the brunt of the hit. and
the horse gets up and says, "I'm fine."
So the stalk of this massive, suddenly appearing huge plant shoots into mostly into Miguel, hitting him right in the chest, with the force of just a raging ache right in his chest. He goes flying up in the air, spiraling out of control. The horse gets slammed off to the side, and its legs kick as it makes itself able to stand back up. And I gotta roll a thing for Miguel real quick.
But not his horse.
Not his horse. His horse is fine. That's bad. And Miguel goes tumbling down, lands on the ground, and then again, another stock. In that moment, in the mere second it took Miguel to land on the ground, the giant stalk that knocked him off his horse is already beginning to wilt and decay and shrink. And then a second stalk shoots up in the same brilliance and vibrancy up to 20, 22 feet tall. And Miguel goes spinning violently outwards and slams in right by your horses, kind of surpassing and falling behind you. His body ravaged with injury as he slams into a tree, multiple bones broken, bruising and blood everywhere. And then the second plant begins to start to wilt and shrink and mold into the ground. Miguel is now motionless, clumped in a heap against a tree.
Holy shit. I thought it was just a drug farm.
I'll get off.
Upon seeing this, Kinsey, you are able to identify what it was. You're like, that's it. You were able to like piece it together fast enough to like you know what was gonna happen, but as soon as you saw it, it was like right. This is a field of jumping yucca.
Yes. Yep.
They are plants that once they become ripe, kind of become like pressure sensitive to whether they enter their next stage of life, which is also their last stage of life, which is blossoming. Should any creature step on them, they fire from the ground, as you just saw, violently destroying pretty much any creature that's standing on top of them, letting that body become fertilizer for the seeds that then spread into the field.
Is Miguel dead?
I'm gonna get off. I guess I'm gonna get off my horse and walk over there to check his pulse, because that's about the extent of first aid that I know.
A very faint pulse, even with your very minor skill in first aid. You imagine if Miguel is not given medical treatment immediately, he will die.
Damn, and we just used all our first aid cubes.
I do have one.
We just used all our first aid cubes.
But I have...
There's no way we could save him. Is he conscious? Can I tell?
Well, you can roll first aid to try and tell if he's conscious.
Hey, Miguel, are you awake?
Does he have any first aid cubes on him?
So he doesn't. Most of his gear is in his horse's saddlebags. His horse, though, is pretty well trained, so it doesn't go running off. It kicks back onto its feet, moves away from the tall plant, like grass and buds and everything, and like pulls back and is like nearby, and you're able to like approach it, and it doesn't run from you, and you're able to check the saddlebags. There are first aid supplies inside his saddlebags.
I got 2 hits on first aid.
He at this moment is in his overflow. He may be drifting in and out of consciousness. It's hard to say how much of what happens next he will remember.
Sure. So I will, just in hushed tones, over to, keeping my face away from him in case dying Miguel can read lips. Now it's sort of quite literally do or die on him. I could go either way.
I feel it'd be more dangerous to return to the gang without him than to perhaps try and save him and, again, use our methods to turn him against the rest of the gang. It'd be good to have an ally.
Pax, your thoughts?
What say you, Pax?
Pax pulling out like a couple first aid cubes from the...
1 for, 1 against, you're the tiebreaker.
Well, I said I could go either way.
So does that make you the tiebreaker then? Well, I guess we'll find out.
Does he have any like healing tonics, or is it all like first aid cubes?
Oh, he for sure has healing tonics.
I'll give him a healing tonic.
Right? Without consulting the two of you.
I mean, I heard them talking.
Yeah, but they turned to you and asked, "What do you think?" Pax, you shove like the first aid cube against like Kinsey's chest and hold up a tonic and go walking towards the now raspy breathing of Miguel as it seems like one of his lungs may have just collapsed.
Yeah, I'm not for this whole suffering thing. So it's either like putting him out of his misery or seeing if this healing tonic works. So
well said.
Okay. So you go up next to him. He's like one good eye looking at you, very conscious at this moment as you approach and uncork the healing tonic. And he kind of like opens his mouth and turns to the side. And you pour the healing tonic into his throat. And he starts coughing. and then takes like a full breath as you can tell that the properties of this tonic are beginning to work on his insides. And he heals enough to not be in his overflow at this point, but his body is still like ravaged and much in pain.
And I'll hoist him up onto like sideways onto his horse.
Sure, yeah. He'll like he gets like one arm that seems to have some strength left in it and like holds on like shakily to your shoulders as you like pull him up, and he's like, Thank you.
Remember, we could have let you die.
And man, I was about to be like, damn, that's mean, but I do remember that last session he told each of you separately that he will leave you to die. And you hoist him up. He doesn't say anything to that, just lets out like a grunt as you like get him up on over the horse, which is already starting to eat some of the grass. Not the tall, scary grass.
And then I'll like, not in like a mean way, but like tie him onto the horse so that when he inevitably passes out or sleeps or whatever, he doesn't, he's
die of horse falling.
Yeah, who knows how much damage he'll take the next time that he falls off that horse.
Horse though, pretty fine.
I give the 3 remaining healing tonics to the horse.
Yeah, it laps up the first one like happily, and you see like some bruising like and matted fur like kind of clear, and you try to give the other one, it's like no.
I say we go around this clearing. I don't know about you.
It's not a bad idea. Now, how much would those seeds be worth before they get buried in the ground there?
Your life, I think.
Well, I mean, aside from that, obviously.
So jumping yuckies, they don't actually have a ton of value. You know, as like a trapper and like kind of a military man, that like on a budget you can make some like perimeter security with jumping yuckies.
Sure.
But they require more maintenance. You need to like if you're not like if critters are not frequently like wandering into them once they've fully ripened, then they'll just kind of wilt out and die. So like you have to keep like feeding it basically, and keeping the soil fertile and like reproducing the seeds. And then on top of that, the thing is like when one jumping yucky does burst, it releases like a ton of seeds.
Sure.
Which is why this field has gotten so big. This field probably, not too long ago was just one jumping yucky, and it has since like become like this large clearing. So the seeds are not in value. Like they have some value, but they're not like super sought after because it's kind of a niche market. But like you could still try to get some. It's just not going to be the biggest.
Personal use. I will try to, if I can get some that aren't too far deep inside the field, I'll get a few seeds.
Sure. All right. Go ahead and roll a survival test. Don't forget the extra reliability and the +1 from your survival kit.
Oh, the +1 I forgot last time. So I get the +1, but I get an extra reliability, so I get 2 reliability. Goodness.
Just sort of wading into the literal minefield for seeds, for personal use, not for money.
You know how useful it can be? Well,
I love jumping yuckies.
Right, so that is an exploding one. 3, 4. Yes, that's 5.
Dude. You guys watch, like, as you're getting, like, Miguel situated, you glance in, and Kinsey is, like, 12 feet deep into this field. Because, Kinsey, you're so able to identify, now that you know what you're looking for, you're able to identify which of these yuckies is ripe and which isn't. so you know where it's safe to step. And you get the whole, like all of the seeds. You're able to pick up an entire batch of seeds. Kinsey McCharlotte, put 50 jumping yucky seeds into your inventory. As you watch him just like casually leaning down and pulling up and like putting in a seed and then walking like 3 feet into the field and then leaning down, picking up another seed. And like you get Miguel situated long before he's done, but he seems incredibly confident as he is just waltzing through this field.
How big are these flowers when they're not shooting out of the ground? Like how much soil does it look like they need?
They're a little bit above knee height, so they need a pretty big pot of soil. Like if you ever had like a banana tree in your house or something, like a pot of soil that would like take like a little bit of lifting to move, like a barrel almost.
Okay. So, not grenades.
No, not grenades.
Catapult ammo, maybe.
Something to think of down the line. That's a great way to see just catapult fully ripened jumping yuckies at people. That's great. Yeah, Kinsey, take an extra grit.
All right.
If there's anything that's gritty, I think it's wading into a literal natural minefield and collecting seeds for more mines.
Just never know they could be useful, you know?
Yeah, and then Kinsey confidently walks out of the field with a sack full of seeds.
All right, I suppose we could go if you're ready.
Yes, let's go around now.
Oh, you sure we don't want to try and pick your way through?
I'm good.
Yeah. So you guys continue on the way, and in just a couple hours, you start the woods start getting a little thinner. The trees start getting a little thinner and shorter and more spread apart. And eventually, as the sun is starting to set and it's getting kind of dark, you hear the stream of a river. And as you kind of clear out of the forest, you are able to see the lights of Moorbrook. The town of Moorbrook is small and simple. It's comprised of a single curving road that follows the bank of a very wide river. One side of the road is made up almost entirely of a series of docks, some of which you can see are occupied currently by large river barges. Just after the docks, on the end of town, is a tall, like 2-story, wide building with, or 3-story, we'll say, wide building with worn, weathered signage that identifies it as the Moorbank Trading Post and General Store. The other side, across the muddy thoroughfare, is an unimpressive line of buildings that make up the rest of the town. There are a few residences you can spot. There's also a tattered-looking hotel placed directly next to the even more ramshackle Pearl Saloon. There's also an old LRC tower with exposed wiring in its upper workings that sits directly across from the trading post. And it's, even in the moonlight, shadows a relatively small laundry and bathhouse. The entire town, even in the dark, based on the little bit of lights it has in front of each building, you're able to tell this entire town is in need of a pressure wash and a fresh coat of paint. You also mark the lack of a sheriff's office, which is something that's kind of more common in the Badlands towns, like smaller Badlands towns, than garden towns, but is not entirely unlikely in the smaller settlements. What do you do? Miguel is still, his breathing has kind of stabilized. You also still very clearly smell just putrid.
Let's go jump in a river. I am. I go jump in a river.
So Roland kicks his horse forward, and the horse rushes forward, and Roland jumps off. And you actually, Roland, you run ahead of your horse and get in the water, kind of like pulling off some of your clothes to like wash them. And the horse, like right behind you, goes in and starts like dipping its head in and washing itself. It kind of lays down in the shallows and like rolls around. You even see Miguel's horse kind of stands on the bank, not sure what to do.
I guess we'll get Miguel down off of the horse, but lay him on the like bank, and then also I will wash in the river as long as it doesn't look like it's, like as dirty, basically. Like
it's less dirty than you are.
Okay.
It hasn't. It's not a super strong flow, at least where like on the shores. It seems like it's probably a deep, wide river. But in general, I mean, it's a little muddy. It's fresh, but like this area seems particularly muddy. But it's still just like it's like what little bit of grit and dirt you get from the wash is totally worth the removal of the smell of the skunk ape.
Yes, Kinsey will do the same. He'll take off all of his clothes and do a quick laundry as well.
All right. So you do a rudimentary fix. You think like you guys still kind of smell a little bit. It's like lingering a little bit. You would need, probably multiple washes and like heavy soap to like really clean yourself. But you get enough that like you at least aren't like carrying around with you like just a wafting like circumference of of like just like disgusting smell. If someone was going to get offended by your scent, they'd have to at least be like close enough to like have a casual conversation with you. What now?
Yeah, so we get clean, and then, I suppose, no, you know what? I might come back here at some point in my life. I will put on a disguise of some kind. Just, like a wide brim hat, and sunglasses, and a beard, and a duster.
It's the middle of the night.
So, see this guy? This guy's distinct. This look, they'll remember this. It'll make it easier to come back is not this.
All right, so yeah, go ahead and roll a blend test for me in case it comes up. So as he's drying himself off, Roland dons a disguise before heading into town. After he's done with the disguise, what everyone do?
Not sure. We should meet up with Salvador with an injured contact. But perhaps we should take him to a doctor of some sort.
Why don't we just get a room for the night?
That's not a bad idea.
I got 4 hits.
Cool. You have a very good disguise. He does not look like himself at all.
Yeah, I reckon room for the night's probably the best bet.
You don't have to do the voice. It's okay.
Well, there's really just no telling who's out for a stroll on a night like this, so.
Okay.
Are you attempting to get a room in the Pearl Saloon, or are you attempting to get a room in the Tattered Hotel?
Which looks less shitty?
It's a matter of perspective. For a saloon, the Pearl Saloon is less shitty. For a hotel, the Moorbank Hotel is way worse on the quality scale.
Yeah, saloon.
Okay.
This is the saloon that we're supposed to go to, yes?
That's right.
Okay.
As you approach the saloon, you can hear music and jovial voices. You come walking in. Do you just carry Miguel in, or is it like kind of a like scattered thing?
Well, I suppose we could weekend at Bernie's it. You've got to have a pair of sunglasses.
I seen that play in Alanisted, and it didn't. It did stretch, a bit of the suspension of disbelief,
That's the point of theatre. It makes you suspend your disbelief.
Right, and I'm saying it didn't do such a great job. Now, the sequel, what with the Voodoo Witch, now that's something. Yeah, maybe I'll get us a room. Yeah, and then, we can go up maybe the back way. Something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's probably best.
Yes, I'll trust your silver tongue.
Yeah.
So Roland
Great.
heads in alone.
Oh, wait, no. First, I do one other thing. I go into Miguel's pack and I find his spurs.
Oh, sure. Miguel has 26 spurs on him.
Cool. I'm gonna grab 10 of those, and I'll look at Miguel. You don't mind if I just take these, right?
He's unconscious right now.
It is so great to obtain things using only words as my currency.
Everyone get an XP.
All right, I'll take it.
Now I'm gonna go obtain a room with currency as my currency.
So you enter the saloon, Roland. The Pearl Saloon's interior aesthetic unfortunately matches its exterior aesthetic to some degree. The patterned wallpaper is aged, desaturated, and torn in various places. You can even mark some bullet holes. The wooden floorboards are just permanently stained with mud and possibly blood in some spots. And they kind of like seem like they're perpetually kind of like wet. Men and women of varying attractiveness linger around the saloon in revealing silk clothing, offering companionship to any wanting patrons. There's a large coned speaker at the end of the bar that pipes out a warbling but jaunty tune at an uncomfortable volume. Now, the saloon isn't full to the gills with drunkards, but there are more than enough people here to create a very lively and charged environment. Specifically, a group of 8 to 10 patrons off on the side of the room are particularly rambunctious. They're cheering, shouting, and arguing over a large, round, high-rise table around which they're all standing. They are standing too close for you to currently get a good look at what seems to be entertaining them, but they do kind of draw your attention for a second. And then there is a couple drunks chatting, cheering. There's like 2 people arm wrestling at the end of the bar, and there's a bartender just like serving beer after beer.
All right. Well, I'll flip up my flip-up sunglasses. And, head over to the bartender. Howdy. Gonna need some rooms for the night.
All right. How many rooms?
Well, 4. You got 4 rooms? How many rooms you got?
He sits there for a second. I got 4 open rooms.
Great.
A spur per room. Do you, you and any of your if any of your companions or yourself wish companionship, it's going to cost you extra, and you can work that out with the person of your choice.
Great. Well, here's 4 spurs, and I will take the keys to those rooms if you don't mind.
Yeah. And he goes over and pulls out like a drawer, rummages around, pulls out 4 keys, slaps on the table, and he goes, and he looks around and goes, the other 3?
Oh, yeah, a buddy of mine got socked right in the face by a skunk ape, so yeah, they're helping him in.
All right. And he goes away to go help someone else.
Man, do I love disinterested bartenders. Yeah, I'll head back out. Got 4 rooms. Can drop Miguel off in his room so he can sleep it off. Can maybe take a look around the town, see what's what. All right, great plan, me. Let's do it.
So we'll drop Miguel off and
Sure. Not a single person gives you more than a single glance as you carry Miguel's unconscious and battered body into the saloon. There's even one person who's like, "Ah!"
I ain't back at you, sir.
I'm wondering how careful we need to be with him. Maybe we should, because like I want to separate him from his guns, but also I feel like in doing so we'll incur his wrath.
Well, how about this? I say after we've put Miguel in his room and are contemplating what to do with the guns that are certainly still on his horse.
Yep.
We'll we'll leave his pistol with him. We'll take his big gun on the premise that Kinsey and I are taking a crack at repairing what went wrong with it,
Okay.
Shall we try to repair what went wrong with it, or?
We'll see what happens in the night. Maybe we get to it, maybe we don't.
Understood. Big plans, then.
Yeah, I am awful curious as to what's going on over in that corner of the bar with the rambunctious folks who done drew my attention earlier. Seems like they ain't so rambunctious no more. Maybe it's like a hide behind, right? If you're looking at them, they ain't rambunctious, but if you ain't interested, they're trying to get you to come over. Like a reverse hide behind. Maybe?
Is that... No, I don't quite think you understand how hide behinds work, my friend.
I think I understand how hide behinds work, Kinsey. This game sure is hard to play with Tommy not involved.
We just come up with the details of the town ourselves. Why not?
Sure. Maybe they're betting on, like, Wasset fights.
This Wasset fight is a thing to behold, like two spaghetti going at it.
Am I back?
Yes,
I'm back.
You're back. Yes, you are.
I gotta tell you, I don't know what it was like for you guys, but it was just like really slow motion robot talk. I could hear like Dan being like, "I'm also curious." All right, so I gather from the little bit I heard from Dan, you're going to check out the thing in the corner?
Yeah, my bet is it's a high-stakes Wasset fight.
What's everyone else doing? So, first off, did anyone get any drinks?
I'll get around for the crew. Well, I guess I'll get around for you and me then, Roland.
What about you, Pax? What are you up to?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I probably just going down to the bar. I don't know that I'm getting any drinks as I have no money, but I will go down to the bar.
Well, that's okay, because Kinsey's one spur buys you all a drink.
Oh, great. I will.
So Kinsey, mark off a spur, and you order a round of drinks for yourself, Roland, and Pax. So Pax, you come down to the bar, and Kinsey just slides the drink right over to you.
It's a mug of strong, bitter ale. That's what I got for everyone, because I did not consult you beforehand.
Roland, you approach the table in the corner, and you get close enough to get kind of a look at what's going on there. And as soon as my computer decides, yeah, okay. And you get like a glimpse. You see movement on the table. It's a large table, about 5 feet wide, circular in size, high top, so it's about at like a little under chest level for everybody. And you get a glimpse, and there's a large creature on this table. And as you kind of are able to like kind of shoulder your way in and observe, this creature is almost like a little terrifying to behold. It's about the size of a small to medium-sized canine, but shorter and wide. And it's a large like crustacean. It's like a crab-like creature that has 4 pincer claws and a scorpion-esque tail at the back. But overall, its primary look is that of a wide like lobster. And it is you see it sitting there with its claws out, snapping razor sharp. You can tell just by the look of them, and its stinger ready to go. And right on the center of its back is a shot of whiskey. and people are throwing money into a tin, and as they throw money in, they're trying to reach in and grab that shot of whiskey. And every time they try to grab the shot, the thing like spins around with like spider-like speed, like hopping to look at them. It seems to have like multiple eyes and able to sense like what's all around it. And it either stings at it with a stinger or snaps at it. And everyone's like pulling back, but they're all having a great time. And you can see like poison dripping from the tip of the stinger as this thing is like trying to like fend off anyone who reaches towards it, not realizing they're just trying to grab a shot off the small of its back.
Sure.
And Kinsey, did you say you were heading over that way too, or?
Oh yes, I'll head that way as I give Roland his drink.
Yeah, Kinsey, you're able to see this as well.
Well, what do you say, Roland? You're going to take a shot?
Well, you know, damn, that ain't my name. Sure, well, keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm gonna, like try and cozy up to these folks and, make some friends and maybe figure out the dumbest one of them and see if I can't convince him to make a grab for that there shot at a bad time.
Sure. I suppose with that, I think ultimately still it's blend, right? It's like kind of consorting with people, kind of like blending in with the crowd, getting the lay of the land socially.
Now,
what about you, Kinsey?
Am I dressed to impress?
Yeah, you disguise yourself. You look rough and tumble. You look like you belong in this town. I don't know about the flip shades, but
people are into it, Tommy. People are into it.
Can I make a survival roll to figure out exactly what this thing is and perhaps if it has any blind spots?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. No modifier.
All right. How's that? Yes, I think I'm going to play to gallery, take my target down one so I can count these 2 12s and make them explode.
Nice.
Well, that was a 20, so... Yes, that's still only 3 successes.
Okay. So you're able to identify this as a sand crawler. Sandwalker. Sandcrawler is from Star Wars.
Filled with crafty aliens.
Yeah, no. This is a sandwalker. It is a river sandwalker. You know that throughout Manifest there's varying breeds of sandwalkers. The river sandwalkers are considered the smallest breed. And this one is young. It's like adolescent at most. The river sandwalkers, they tend to get like kind of like large dog size in their later years. And there have been bodies of water that can get like that, in their adolescence are like the size of a horse, and in their adulthood are like the size of a ship.
Goodness. All right.
but this one's a river sandwalker.
Terrifying. I got the hits.
You also know, Kinsey, that their stinger is incredibly poisonous,
Cool.
and their claws are razor sharp. You know that like larger sandwalkers, even on the river, right? They can be hell for ships. If there's any kind of like barnacles or any like sea life on the bottom of the ship, sometimes if the ship is large enough and is close enough to the shallows, a sandwalker will try and snatch. Claws are sharp enough to like sometimes puncture holes.
Mm. No. Yes.
Truly terrifying.
Delightful game of chance for a bar, I suppose.
Yeah. If you're wrong, you're either going to get horribly poisoned or lose a finger.
Oh.
Actually, right as I say that, someone does reach in and lose a finger.
What is the crowd's reaction? Is it horror or?
No, they love it.
We're super into it, Kinsey. This is the game we're playing.
Aha! Yeah.
That guy is horrified. He lets out a shout. He's missing one of his fingers. He falls back. His friends like grab him. One of them has the presence of mind to grab his finger and they like drag him out of the bar. Everyone else is like, yeah, 2 spurs. I got this. All right, here we go. Little sucker's getting worn out. What did you get, Roland?
I got 3 hits on blend.
All right. Yeah, so you are correct. Everyone enjoyed that, and you cheered along with them. But beyond that, you're able to get kind of a read. There's a few people. You don't know which one of them is like the best mark, but you're able to identify like a handful of people that like you could mess with. They're drunk enough. They're making friends with anyone who bumps into them. And like many of them are throwing in a spur and taking a grab at it. You're also able to kind of tell by watching however many spurs you throw in is how many attempts you get before you have to throw more spurs in.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to bet someone. I'm just going to straight up bet someone that they can't do it and call them a coward if they try and call me on my bet.
Okay. There's a lady who like bumps into you. She's one of the ones you've marked. She turns to you and goes, "Howdy, friend. Cool sunglasses."
Thanks. Yeah, I picked him up down south. So what? How many times you tried to grab at that thing?
Me? No, I like all my digits where they is.
Oh, all right. Well, so what you're really saying is you can't do it.
I mean, look, it ain't that hard. You just gotta wait for someone else to reach in, and when they're losing a finger, then you reach in. Go ahead, give it a shot, friendo.
Oh, so what you're trying to? I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to get me to reach in, and then you go and grab it. See, here's the thing. I bet you 4 spurs. You cannot get that shot glass without help.
She sits there for a second. People are bumping into her. She's like, "Fuck off." 4 spurs?
Yeah, 4 whole spurs.
Now, if I get it, I get the 4 spurs and the pot.
Yeah.
If I don't get it,
you can't have help. You can't have help.
And if I don't get it,
you give me 4 spurs.
I give you 4 spurs.
That's
go ahead
how
and roll.
betting works, yeah.
Go ahead and roll manipulate. We'll put. She has some negatives, but I'm gonna put you at a -3.
All right, dress to impress still. I mean, she commented on my sunglasses. Dress to impress is in play.
All right, you're up against a 5.
Yeah, that is wait, -3? Wait, no, because dress to impress. Well, it's just the 1 hit, but it is a 10.
She looks at it, looks at you, looks at it, looks at the pot, looks at you, and she goes, 2 spurs!
Okay. Now, I do believe before any payouts happen, I have tricked someone into a disadvantageous position.
Yes.
I'll pay 2 spurs for 1 XP. That's an exchange rate I'm happy to pay.
Yeah. So you say that. She takes 1 spur out and like pings it against the table, and it goes flying deftly into the pot that everyone's throwing spurs into. And that earns her 1 grab at it. And then she like looks at it for a second, a couple people reach, and she holds up her hand. And then she more like punches the thing than grabs the thing, and like a little bit of whiskey like spills, but like she kind of just like hits it, but she pulls her hand back just in time for the stinger to miss her as it stabs into the wood and pulls out, and she goes, "Ah, damn!" Hands you 2 spurs, and she goes, "What's your friend name?"
You can call me Martine.
Martine. All right. Well, if you got the wits about you, maybe you have a chance. What are you doing, Pax? While Kinsey and Kinsey and Roland are surrounding this table of rambunctious people.
I'm not really one for crowds too much. Oh no, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so I will I'll talk to the bartender.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll go, what's your name, friend?
Glenn, what's yourn? It ain't that hard of a question, miss.
Yeah,
You know what? Don't matter.
that's what I was trying to think.
Do you need no drink?
I was looking for a person, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I was looking for a person named Salvador.
He looks at you for a second, sizes you up, and then looks around, realizes like you're standing at the bar alone. He goes, "Young miss, I don't mean to impose, but now I do need your name."
Won't do you any good. I was sent by an interested party.
Well, then I suppose, what's the party's name?
His name is Rufus, right?
Rufus
Yeah,
Nash.
the leader of the Dead Man's Gang is Rufus Nash.
Rufus?
Rufus what?
I think you know what.
He sits back, looks around a little bit, and goes, "Well, miss, if Rufus did indeed send you, that means Sal's got word of your arrival. I suggest you take in the evening's entertainment and see where the night gets you."
Super. I'll continue to drink this excellent vintage ale.
He does slide a shot over to you, and he goes, "On the house."
Thank God. All right.
Then he walks over to someone else who seems to work there, one of the women in silk, and he like gestures for her to come over, and he whispers something in her ear, and then she disappears down a side hall.
Can I hear what he says to her?
You can attempt to. You would have to. It wouldn't be a matter of observe. It would be a matter of getting close enough without him noticing. Which would be hard because he was literally just talking to you. But you could, if you want. You could attempt.
No, thank you. I'm still injured.
Yeah. He gives just a quick whisper to her. She goes off down a side hall. And then he goes over to someone else who's ordering some drinks. He doesn't like glance at you again. He just keeps working about the bar. Meanwhile, Kinsey, what are you doing?
I've been watching this game with the Sandwalker. Is that what you said?
Sandwalker, yes.
I've been watching this game with the Sandwalker. And I think I've kind of come up with a strategy. I've noticed people keep kind of going right for the front, but the eyes are more focused forward, right? So that if you divert its attention, perhaps maybe you can grab for the shot from the side. Anyway, as more of an experiment than anything, I'm going to surreptitiously tuck some Kalu jerky up my sleeve, and I'm going to toss a spur into the can, and I'm going to try and use the jerky in my sleeve to kind of use whatever olfactory senses I assume that it has. Maybe be like, oh, you smell food over here, and I'm going to grab for the shot.
All right. Yeah, let's go with wrangle. This sounds like a wrangle to me.
All right, that's yes. Oh, yes, perfect. Okay. That is 3 hits with a high of 8.
My highest is a 7.
Well, excellent. I am the aggressor in this, so that's 2 successes for me.
That's all you need, man. So you kind of get the lay of it. You just drop a spur in. Everyone's like, oh, and everyone's watching as you kind of raise both hands. And then you hold up your right hand just a little bit higher, and you watch as the thing spins around and looks right at you, and everyone's like, oh, and people are like, he's screwed. Oh, he's not gonna make it. Oh, it's got your scent now, boy. And then you, in a quick motion, slap your hand towards the right, and it jumps and turns that way. And in that moment, you swing your left hand around and you grab the shot and pull it out. And it takes one snap at your finger, but just barely misses. You can feel the wind of it against your pinky. And you pull the shot back. And everyone's like, they go wild. They're like, yeah, woo! And they're high-fiving each other. The person who de facto is in charge of the tin full of spurs shoves them towards you. There's 18 spurs in there.
Right, I'll take that. And and one of those is mine, right? So
yes.
Right, excellent. So I'll take a cheers to Martine and cheers to Pax all the way across at the other side of the bar. I'll take the shot and go.
Now, how about that? If that ain't the quickest son of a bitch out here in the garden, Kinsey McCharlotte.
They immediately put a bucket over the Sandwalker to contain it, and one person runs to the bar to grab another shot. and while they're doing that, they're tapping on the bucket and trying to get it riled up underneath there. You are able to collect and pocket 18 spurs, and everyone's high-fiving you and giving you shoulder punches and cheering for you. One person offers to buy you a drink, which makes no sense because you just want a bunch of money.
Just go with the Kinsey. Go with the Kinsey.
See, it's all just a trick of misdirection. Sandwalkers, they're very quick, but not so bright, you see, I say as we walk up to the bar.
That guy is like, hot damn, I thought I was going to take your finger off. It was so close.
I felt the wind on this finger. Good thing, too, it has my favorite tattoo on it. Wouldn't want to lose that bad boy.
A couple of shots for me and my friend here. Fastest grabber I've ever seen. It was like he spoke to the thing. And you're able to do a shot with that guy. They open up the thing, and one person holds like a little bit of food in front. One person feeds the Sandwalker a couple bites of food, and then holds one up in front of him and like low, and like feeds him again and low, and feeds him again. And they basically give the Sandwalker like a bunch of food. And during that time, while it's kind of docile eating the food, they're able to like place the shot on its back. And then they stop feeding, and then they kind of slap on the table a little bit, and it gets like defensive again. Yeah. Roland, Pax, up to anything while Kinsey's getting a shot with this young fan he has?
Well, I guess you've I'll regroup with Pax, just check in. You're fairly direct. I feel like I've learned that about you. I assume you've inquired about our final destination in this town.
I have.
And?
Enjoy the night's festivities, and things will proceed.
All right. I had a thought.
Sure.
Might it be in our interest to update that relative we made contact with before in the prior town from this LRC tower, just with further information as to what's coming their way?
Yes.
Would you mind just procuring the means to make that happen?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Seems good. I'm going to get some fresh air. I'll be right back. And I'm going to go wander around town picking up some people's LRC tags.
Sure. At this point,
have 6 of them.
Yeah. Do you not have the same 6 you stole before?
Nah, I left those at the last LRC tower because that's a great way to get caught.
All right. So at this point in the evening, most everyone in town is in the saloon.
Sure. All right. I guess it's my turn to go get a shot off that creature-y thing, I guess. And as I make my way through the crowd, I will just borrow some LRC tags.
Cool. Go ahead and roll skullduggery.
Okie day.
How many LRC tags are you grabbing?
6.
All right, take a -5.
Okie day.
You are up against a 4.
Nards. I don't have a reliability.
You are still injured.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, weird. I could hear me too. Okay. So I got 3 hits then.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you're able to grab all 6. It's just the last one as you get it. The lady in question goes, "Oh, you're getting nice and comfy over here." And she like puts an arm around you and pulls you in. And she goes, "You want to take a crack at the Sandwalker?"
Sure.
All right, watch out. He's deadly.
And I will.
How many spurs do you put in?
Just 1, because I only have 1 spur.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, you're just reaching in trying to grab it fast.
Yes.
Cool. We'll call it unarmed.
Okay. Let me get it. Oh, maybe not.
Surprisingly, you're only up against a 4.
Ah. Well, I got a 9 and a 10.
All right. So you flick a spur in, and she goes, "All right, here we go. Here's my new friend." And she slaps you on the back. You kind of get jolted forward, bumping up against the table. The thing kind of like jostles a little bit and loses its balance just for a second. And in that moment, I'm assuming you're still on the call, Addie?
Yep.
Okay. For me, your video turned off.
Okay.
But you it like jostles and tumbles a little bit, and like almost immediately after you flick in the spur, you reach out a hand and grab because you realize that's your moment, and you're able to actually snatch the spur just as the stinger kind of snaps down, barely missing you. And you're able to take the shot, and you earn 5 spurs.
And I'll give one to my new friend and be like, "Thanks for the good luck."
She takes it and goes, "Hey, all right. What's your name, friend?"
I'm already gone.
Oh, where'd she go? All right. Hey, buddy, come on, give it a shot. You collect 6 LRC tags for use at the Long Range Communications Tower.
And I will immediately deposit them with Roland.
Great. Just going to mosey on down to the LRC, drop a message to dear old Mrs. Yen, I think. Yeah, Mrs. Yen, sure. And just, hey, it's me again, your friend, Sierra.
Last time you didn't specifically say you were Sierra.
Oh, no, you're right. I would merely insinuate that it is me, Sierra.
You should insinuate that it's you, Miguel.
Yeah, so one thing you don't have to roll to know that like it will these like messages you send will identify where they're coming from. Yeah,
it's gotta be Miguel. All right, hey, it's me. You know me with the big gun in the back. So we're picking up some heavy armaments. I've sort of made contact with our prior mutual contact. I'm just trying to keep you apprised of the situation. So just, be prepared for maybe like some bigger guns than you thought.
Cool.
And I send that over the course of 6 LRC tags.
Yeah. You're able to identify the fact that there is probably going to be an ambush at this meeting.
Yeah, great. And then I will just, sort of drop those LRC tags in various spots on my way back.
Sure. During the time it takes Roland to send that, Kinsey, what are you doing? Anything interesting?
Kinsey's just hanging out with his fanboy at the bar.
Cool.
Sorry.
At the bar.
At the bar. When he gets drunk, he gets a southern accent, apparently.
The night goes on, and during the time it takes Roland to send that message over the course of 6 LRC tags, lucky for you, Roland, there's no operator here to look at you weirdly as you do this. It's a single terminal automated LRC tower. And there's a point, Pax, where you notice a large man, kind of stout with broad shoulders and kind of a round belly. He's wearing suspenders. He has a thick, almost bushy goatee. He has a flat cap on. He walks in, makes eye contact with the bartender. The bartender like sees him and points at you. And this man starts making his way over to you. Kind of, you notice him sizing you up as he does, and he sits down next to you, kind of with a sigh as he hops up onto the stool, looks you up and down, and he goes, "Drink for me and my new friend. My name's Saul."
Pax.
And he shakes your hand, and he goes, "Pax, where in the hell did you come from?" And that's where we'll end this session.
We didn't die to the skunk ape.
Yeah.
By
We
some
did it.
miracle.
I broke the law, right? And I got away with it.
Yeah. Okay. What other XP triggers do we have? I think we're at. What were we at before?
We're at 5.
We're at
5. Yeah.
5. All right. What else we got?
So with that one, that's 6, and then I believe my patience was rewarded as I watched the Sandwalker. I tried to find and get a good strategy going.
Yeah. Sure. For sure. So we got 1 from Pax, 1 from Kinsey. Remember, if you ever get 2 advanced triggers, that's 1 grit towards you.
And surely one of you got 1 more.
Did I take something I want but didn't deserve?
The LRC tags? Yeah.
Hey.
And I think that's it.
I didn't trap anything, and I did not sell any of the animal parts that I gathered, so I'll be sure to get those next session.
In a manner of speaking, you trapped the jumpin' yuckies with Miguel. It was a deliberate action to send him in there, and he got a lot of animal parts out of it.
What is this? This is a trap is successfully executed or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, the yuckies in themselves are a trap. That's their thing.
A trap is utilized successfully. Yes, it didn't say how to set
it doesn't have to be you. It just is a trap is utilized successfully.
Love that.
All right, so
Yeah,
you guys are
that's
at
for me.
9 XP.
We're level 5, baby.
Woo! Congrats, level 5. All right. So we went just a little bit late, so let's see if we can jump into some questions. So before we any of you who are in the chat, now is the time. Throw some questions in the chat. Addie is monitoring that. Also, Addie, what did they say? Did you earn that grit or what?
No comment. So I think that we did earn that grit.
Implicit approval.
All right, cool. So if any of you have questions in the chat, now is the time to submit them. We're going to answer any questions you have, plus the questions on the Kickstarter exclusive Discord. I have a question from Argitlam that says, how large is Ion Harbor? What exactly is the harbor located on? For example, does it go into the Poison Lake or an actual body of water? Ion Harbor being one of the 8 factory towns on Manifest, the one that is heralded as being the most technologically advanced. Addie, you want to take that?
Sure. So depending on what you mean by how large is it, I can tell you the population it has or the size of it, or kind of the population density, because I've done all the math. So Ion Harbor is home to about 6.25 million people currently, and it's 399 square miles. So it is the second most densely populated city on Manifest. I think, if that's true.
I thought it was the mostly, but I could be wrong.
It looks, according to my notes, Freedom City is the most densely populated, followed closely by Ion Harbor.
It's because Freedom City sucks.
Yeah, it does really bad. And most of those are in sort of tall towers because it's in the, it's on the border of the wastes and the salt flats. And basically nobody wants to live at ground level in that kind of environment. So it's all kind of like up, and also because it's got all that silica around it.
Mind your microphone.
Oh no, is it? I thought I wrapped it around so that wouldn't happen. I hate this thing. I gotta get a new headset. Like us in the anyway, I'm losing it. I'm so tired. So Ion Harbor. It is pretty big. It's like the size of like the Shadowrun Seattle Metroplex, basically. And it is very tall because it has a lot more people living way high up due to the capabilities of being technologically more advanced than most places. It's
out of all the factory towns, it has the largest concentration of skyscrapers. Not to say it's made entirely of skyscrapers. Skyscrapers are relatively rare on Manifest, but Ion Harbor has definitely the most of them by a large margin. As Addie said, it is built intentionally to be tall, and it has just a significant amount of people packed into an extremely small amount of space.
It's the majority of the population of the wastes lives in Ion Harbor.
Yeah.
But what's it on the harbor of?
The answer to that is not really a huge body of water. It is adjacent to both the salt flats and the wastes. It doesn't actually have direct contact with any large body of water besides the swamplands, correct?
Yeah, it's the harbor of Ion Harbor is actually more of like a bog filled with like swamp boats and like pontoon boats, basically stuff that wouldn't be hindered so much by the like detritus in the bog near the city. But basically you can get very far on water from Ion Harbor. So that's kind of what the harbor is, but I think it's also kind of a joke name a little bit because it is the all of the silica in the salt flats is kind of how they make all of the technology, and so it's kind of the harbor of sort of like electricity and sort of loose sea and all that kind of stuff.
It's a Manifest Silicon Valley.
Basically, yeah.
We have another question from Wise Idiot that says, I remember from the Essential NPCs campaign, Tommy made a comment that the salt flats were, I can't remember the exact size, but it was an unexpectedly large number. I wanted to get clarification on the size of the salt flats and the size of Manifest in general. Is it a size comparable to Earth, or is it much larger or much smaller? So the circumference of Manifest is just a little bit bigger than that of Mars, which I believe is 14,000 miles in circumference. Something along those lines. It's about half the circumference of Earth. As far as the salt flats go, they're like, if you took the contiguous United States of America and just kind of shrunk it down just a little bit, that would be about the size of the salt flats roughly. It's hard to scale exactly because of where it is on the planet. It's in kind of the more southern region, which means the curvature is a lot more intense and matters a little bit more. So, but that's kind of roughly the size of it. It's a very large stretch of land for sure.
There's a ruined proto-martyr base somewhere out there.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say? Yeah. So that is all the questions from the Discord specifically. Do we have any additional questions in the Twitch chat?
It doesn't look like it. It looks like the Twitch chat's a little quieter than usual tonight, and I'm going to chalk that up to a major primary debate happening simultaneously.
You're telling me we don't draw head-to-head against The Democratic presidential debate.
I know, it's crazy, but that's, they don't know about Manifest, or else, like, it would be
Surely we'd be one of the hot button issues they're discussing.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just waiting for that hashtag to pop up in relation. So yeah, we don't have any tonight in the chat. Though I asked the chat what they thought about my decision to sabotage that gun, and they said #regrets. So good for you, chat. You're right.
To be fair, it was only a bad decision until he got just whammed by the flower monster.
Okay, so that's gonna do it for tonight's stream, unless any other questions sneak in under the wire. So just a reminder, tomorrow at, I believe, 8 p.m., right, Addie?
Yeah.
8 p.m. we have the premiere of another show on this channel called Building Character, where Addie will kind of theory craft and create a character. For our first episode, she is doing Ranger from Dungeons and Dragons. So be sure to tune in for that. And then next week, we have this show again at 8 on Tuesday, and also another episode of GM Styles on Thursday?
Friday.
Damn it. Oh, so close.
We're not crazy enough to go head-to-head against Critical Role just yet. We're dark on Thursdays.
Yeah. So on Friday and Tuesday next week, we will have shows. This show will continue on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Also, the first thing I'm doing as soon as we get off the air is I'm going to go and grab my computer and get some of these episodes up on our YouTube. I'm going to get our YouTube going. So we've been having some issues with the uploads, but I'm just going to stay up until that fixes.
It's like you're editing a podcast all over.
Yay!
Yeah, my janky computer can't handle all the processing power YouTube requires. So we're going to switch it over to Tommy's workhorse laptop, and then it should probably happen in like no time.
Yeah, hopefully we get all of the episodes up, so that way any of you who have missed episodes will be able to enjoy them prior to next week's episode. Tuesday, 8 p.m., this show, same cast, same people, same problems. As they continue to try and survive what they've fallen into. Thank you so much for viewing. We love you all. If you haven't already, hit that follow button.
You did it, Tommy.
You did it, Tommy.
I'm never going to forget it now. Go ahead and follow us. That way, as we're introducing new shows, you get notifications whenever we go live, in case you want to tune in and see whatever's going on.
And we're so close to 100 followers, so be the cool 100th follower. That's all.
Yeah.
Or 99th, or 98th, or 97th.
Just follow.
All of them are cool.
Don't worry about what number you are. Just
That
follow.
part's right there. I don't know what. Come on, it's right there.
And thank you to Seth for this amazing outro music that we're about to play.
Yeah.
Bye.